Today we are discovering what secrets Survivor Caramoan did not tell us in the edited TV show. Some of these are game related, some are strategic, and some are just plain silly. Basically, as long as it isn't part of the show that aired on TV, it is fair game to be considered a secret. And while most of the secrets here are focused on Survivor Caramoan, some of them do apply to Survivor as a whole. Heads up, this list contains the secrets that I personally found to be the most interesting. Not every single secret in existence about this season is in this video. So with that, let's count all 45 of them in absolutely no particular order.
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
Number 1, let's address the elephant in the room. The question we all had after Francesca was voted out: did she ever eat the rock that she promised to? Well, around the time of season 31, someone confronted her about this.
Do you know what that is, Francesca?
It's Francesca, and yes, it's a rock.
Do you know why it's here?
You want me to eat it?
I want you to eat it.
I'm not gonna eat it.
You said you would eat it.
I know I said I would eat it if I was voted out first again, but I'm not gonna eat it.
Yes, you did say that.
Not eating it.
There, now eat it, go.
That's not gonna happen.
Wow, Francesca, I can never trust you again. Number 2, when Jeff yells out 39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor, he will sometimes be in locations that are super cool, but it kind of happens so fast you don't think about the logistics of how he even got there. Well, for Caramoan, they actually show how they did this, and I gotta say, I am worried the whole time watching this that someone is going to fall down.
It was a blast because we were on the chopper. First, we had a safety guy climb up a 125-foot spire, a skinny little rock. He climbed up himself, put a stake in the rock, and then the helicopter comes with me on it. I step off the helicopter onto this rock that's about this big, and he clips the thing in, and then we shoot the... You do feel like, James.
Thanks for watching Once Upon an Island. Liking and subscribing really helps, and if you want to pick what videos I make and watch every video weeks and even months early, then consider supporting the channel on Patreon. If this interests you, then check out the link in the description. Thank you for your support. Number 3, technically this took place right before Heroes vs. Villains, but I only recently watched it and saw how incredible it was, so sue me. Rupert was on an Israeli edition of Survivor that has no English subtitles, so I can only guess what is being said by everyone else who isn't Rupert, but we will be tracking his whole adventure in this video. In this first part, he is presented as the reward challenge prize.
Rupert!
I'm back!
Wow!
I can't believe I'm back on Survivor.
You think you can help them?
Oh, I know I can. After the second one, I found freedom. You know, my favorite thing out there in the water, tons of food. We will eat.
Sound tasty,
Whoever
huh?
gets me, we will eat.
Number 4, the theme this season is fans versus favorites. But I would loosely use the term fans for this cast, and I would even more loosely use the word favorites to describe this bunch. Apparently, Jeff agrees, as he does his best to ignore the dictionary definition of the word favorites.
The big question really comes down to what is a favorite. It doesn't mean the audience loved you and you're a hero and they rooted for you. It can mean the audience despised you and rooted against you.
Number 5, with a returning season of players means undoubtedly people we wanted to see were asked back but cut for a variety of reasons. So let's start off with Matt Bischoff's first-hand account of people vying for a fans spot that we will see in later seasons.
When I went to my casting for season 26 Survivor Caramoan, Tyler Fredrickson from season 30 was at my finals. He got cut from my season. Jeremiah Wood from Brains, Brawn, and Beauty was at my finals. He got cut. Max Dawson from season 30 was at my finals. He got cut.
Now with that, Jeff Probst confirmed the following returnees were considered. Shambo from Samoa and Matt Elrod from Redemption Island were asked but told production that they are done with Survivor. Lisa from Philippines was asked but thought doing back-to-back seasons would be too much with how long she would be away from her family. Troy Zan of One World was on the cast, but was actually cut at the last minute for Malcolm from Philippines. Tyson Apostle of Tocantins was considered and then not cast, and Stephen Fishback of Tocantins was considered and not cast either. You know, actual favorites. Number 6. Sometimes I wonder if advertisers care or pay attention to the events on a season of Survivor. We do know the car sponsorship went away due to the controversies of the racial divide on Cook Islands, and I wonder if Sprint saw this ad with Brandon and afterwards went, yeah, we made a mistake.
It's Brandon from Survivor South Pacific.
People are going to perceive me as being a hypocrite. No, I'm learning from my mistakes. Mine cost me $1 million.
Survivor Caramoan premieres February 13th only on CBS, sponsored by Sprint.
Number 7. We all saw that shocking Eric collapse after Tribal Council and wondered, what the heck really happened here? This wasn't during a challenge, he was just walking out of Tribal. Eric did upload a 10-minute video on his YouTube channel, link in the description, detailing everything, but here are the cliff notes of what took place.
And one day, close to the merge, we all decided to go on this big trip as a group. When we were coming down a hill on the Goda Beach, there was this area that had a lot of big rocks and coral reef. And a wave came up and hit me. When the wave hit me, it pushed me over and it cut my leg open. So like right in the middle of my shin, it was cut open. At the challenge that day or the next day, I think day 36, I talked to medical and they determined that I did have a fever. And they said, you know, it's probably associated with this infection that you have in your leg. I want you to take some penicillin. And I didn't know this until after everything, but I'm allergic to penicillin. He gave me the penicillin pill and said, you know, take it before Tribal Council with some water. The entire Tribal Council was like a blur. And I started to get really dizzy, and I was sitting on the stool just telling myself like, oh my God, something's happening, don't fall off the stool. Like really focus, just smile and don't fall off the stool. I voted. I thought Sherry was voted out, even though really Brenda was voted out. And I remember when Brenda got her torch snuffed, I didn't realize she was getting her torch snuffed. She was just waving to everybody. And so I was like, oh, hi, Brenda. And I waved to Brenda, the Filipino hospital, makeshift hospital, and then waking up with 2 IVs in my arm. And I was like, what happened? And they said, you're out of the game. And I was like, oh, so I'm behind Sherry. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, so Sherry just got voted out and now I'm out after Sherry. I'm like, and I was kind of happy that I beat Sherry, that I got a little farther than Sherry. And they're like, no, Sherry's still in the game. Like, Brenda got voted out. And I'm like, what? Brenda didn't get voted out. I saw her. And they're like, no, she got voted out.
Number 8. Back to Rupert on Israeli Survivor. He has just been won as a reward for the Purple Tribe, who are pumped to have him. After all, Rupert is an expert fisherman, and this is the Philippines, the same location as Caramoan. So how does he do in his quest to get the Purple Tribe food?
We eat a lot. You want to fish? Yeah. I'm gonna go fishing for hours and hopefully I can bring something back. There's no fish in the ocean.
I've already failed my first test. I didn't bring a fish back.
Number 9. In another ad for Survivor Caramoan shown during the preseason, I unfortunately can't play the audio since the song is Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. You can just look that one up on YouTube, meaning they knew exactly what they were doing in casting this group as favorites. The ad even says, we brought back the most controversial players, aka these are not favorites. Number 10. In this secret scene from episode 1, Brandon is being loving towards everyone and everyone is pleasantly surprised by this. I would be too. I'm not sure why this wasn't included in the show proper, since it would show the nicer side of him before he goes nutso later on.
This is what you need. A hug?
Oh, careful. Ow!
Very gentle, very gentle. I didn't know your cable was such a delicate.
I know. He's awesome. I told you.
I didn't think he was going to be like that.
I told you he's great.
He's a sweetheart.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Number 11. Shamar was a mess this season, and I truly wonder how long he would have lasted in the game if he wasn't medically evacuated due to his eye being scratched. Well, in this secret scene from before that incident, it looks like Shamar was already on the verge of being medically evacuated here too. Please don't laugh. This situation, oh, it's serious.
With the bamboo. How bad you bleeding? No, I didn't bleed yet.
I don't know if I really can, make it in the game because, you know, I felt my hand kind of throbbing, and I'm like, how can I lift things? How can I like maneuver around this? And it's challenging for me to, you know that my hand is messed up and not know what to do about it.
Is your finger still hurting?
Yep, still hurting. A lot of things were going through my head. I didn't really know how I would make it. It was just a lot of anger just because I'm really, you know, messed up right now.
Number 12. A few episodes removed from Brandon being super sweet and nice shows his descent, as in this secret scene, you can see the fire in his eyes and how he's just looking for any reason to wreak some havoc.
If they're not messing with us, that's good news. Oh yeah, if they are, I'm gonna go ape.
You can't cage somebody up, kick the cage, shake the cage, you know, and then let them out the cage and say, hey, now you're a part of the group, and think that that person is gonna seriously be okay with that? There's no way in hell.
If you get voted out, I'm burning it down. I'm willing to burn some stuff.
Brandon came up with this plan where he wanted to just destroy the camp if there was a chance he was going to get voted out or I was going to get voted out.
Okay, this is it, man. We lose, we bring down the house. And we make a tribal to remember.
All right.
And I'll stand up in tribal and I'll say, I was the coordinator of that.
Boom! Number 13. Enough of Brandon for now. How has Rupert been doing with the Israelis? His fishing expedition didn't go quite as planned, and desperation is sinking in as he tries to channel his inner Aussie.
Being able to climb a coconut tree. I just want to try what it would be like real quick to see. Yeah, no way, no way. I'll never be able to get such a straight up and down tree. There's no way I gotta go 50, you know. I didn't want to break my neck.
Number 14. Corinne can be petty, and nothing exemplifies this more than in the secret scene before her boot, where she expresses nothing but disdain for Sherry.
No split votes. Let's feed the fire for Sherry. Sherry is a dumpster fire. I don't appreciate small talk. I don't care where you're from. I definitely don't care what your kids' names are. I don't care if they're in Little League. I hate small talk. And this broad is just small talk central. So I'm none too happy to get rid of her. I mean, just on a personal level.
But that's not all. Corinne to this day is fairly unchanged, as just the other day she posted this pretty funny video on Instagram that shows exactly what I mean.
I have a list of grievances, and I'd like to see if anyone else is as annoyed by these general things as I am. Number 1, store greeters. You can see that I'm on my AirPods and probably on a work call. Do you really need to scream at me, "Hi, how are you?" Because also, guess what? I don't care how you are, and you don't care how I am. You could have just killed your nephew and put him in the trunk of your car, and I wouldn't know the difference. We don't know each other. 3, seatbelt beef. Behind my house, my car is the most expensive thing I've ever bought. And guess what? If I don't want to put my seatbelt on within the first minute and a half of a car ride, I shouldn't have to, and you should shut the up. Number 6, elevator door open buttons. Here's the deal. There's gonna be another elevator. That's how they work. I don't need you glaring at me through the closing doors thinking that I should be reaching and finding that button. You can just get the next elevator.
Number 15. Phillip is terrible at reading people. I know, that is not a secret, and it's just me stating the obvious. But I mention it because in this secret scene, it baffles me how much he misses on the obvious sarcasm from Michael.
But I always told you that if ever I told you to do anything, do it. And I'm here to do everything you tell me to do. It's fine. It's fine. You know, that's why I was put on this island, to do everything you told me to do. Obviously, you haven't watched my season. It's called Stealth or Us. You know, it's a game. It's called Survivor, and it's outwit, outplay, outlast. Is it? It is. I'm glad you keep explaining these things to me, because all these things you keep explaining to me, I had no idea. You chose to believe someone else. That's a decision you make. Now, you can live with it. This morning when Mike came in and said, "Hey, Phillip, you don't get to tell me what to do. Listen up, girlfriend. You need to understand, you failed to do what I asked you to do. Thus, you failed to do what the Alliance and Stealth R Us asked you to do. And there's a price to be paid for that. If you don't do what we asked you to do, you will go home."
Number 16. In this next secret scene, Reynold is on the verge of being voted out, and I've never seen anyone use such grace, elegance, and expert social manipulation to tell a story that sways everyone to do what they want. This is 4D chess.
Do you know the fable of the scorpion and the frog?
Negative.
The scorpion approaches the frog on the side of the riverbed and he says, "Put me on your back and swim me across this river." And the frog says, "Absolutely not. Like, you're gonna sting me." And the scorpion says, "I need you to swim me across the river. If I sting you as you're swimming me across the river, we're both gonna drown and die. It does me no good." So they start swimming him across, and you get about halfway across the river, and scorpion just plunges his tail right into the back of the frog. The frog's paralyzed and he rolls over and he's drowning and the scorpion falls into the water and the scorpion's drowning. The frog looks at the scorpion and says, "Scorpion, why did you sting me?" And the scorpion said, "Because I am a scorpion." And the moral of the story is you cannot deny your nature.
Number 17. To say that Dawn was an emotional wreck this season is an understatement, but seeing her act paranoid and attempt to steal Andrea's idol, oh, that's something, that's for sure.
All of a sudden I'm like, she's gonna use her idol, she's gonna give it to him, I'm gonna be...
No, oh my gosh, no.
No, for real.
No, don't worry. But why?
I'm like, then let me
Well,
hold
I have
it.
you. I have you.
Then let me hold it so I don't lose my
No,
mind.
don't worry.
Then let me hold it.
What? No. She thinks I'm gonna play the idol on one of the boys and she's gonna go home. She's nuts. I promise you.
Please,
100% Dawn.
Andrea, I'll give it right back to you. I'll give it right back to you.
You'll give it right back to me?
Yeah, you know me.
Don't play it.
No, no, you know that.
You
no,
pray that.
You know that. You know that. This is just a gesture.
Okay, this is a gesture, so
okay.
you're not worried.
Thank you. Then I'll be fine. Then I won't bother you.
Okay.
Plus, I don't have any. Oh, that's...
Number 18. Okay, so what the heck? How come the pre-jury were required to sit with the audience and not on stage? I don't believe Jeff when he says, there just wasn't enough room up here. Here's the story as told from Matt Bischoff's perspective.
All the pre-jury people, they sat us in the front couple rows of the audience, and there's like a picture they panned to us, and we're just sitting there like super like pissed off looking. There was drama between Phillip Shepard and Brandon Hance. And then Russell Hance was like threatening to come there to beat up Phillip or something stupid like that. So they're just like, Brandon Hance was not able to, like, they're like, you're banned from coming to the reunion show. So we're going to try to disguise the fact that Brandon Hance is not here by not putting any of the pre-jury boots on stage. Probst said something like, there's not enough room on the way that we decorated the stage, there's not enough room for everybody. Total bull. It's the same setup they have every time.
Number 19. Phillip is now on Ponderosa, and his inability to let go of his pride and arrogance never ceases to amaze me as he just lies and lies about little things.
205, 6 pounds.
You were 224.5, so you've lost 19.5 pounds.
Beautiful.
You have lost so much weight.
Yes, I've lost, I came in at 224, I weighed 202.
Phillip, you don't look like a 54-year-old man. How do you do it?
Water, vitamins, not too much alcohol. You're gonna drink a little wine, try to stay away from the hard stuff.
Number 20. Let's circle back to our buddy Rupert, who is struggling to be a worthwhile reward for the Israelis, as he does his absolute best to not build an underground shelter and instead do something useful for them, like make a fire.
This burns. Okay. This burns underwater, this will burn. Let me get a better pile. Let me get a better pile of steel. Why you said I'm not going? Just don't understand. I'm feeling bad. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't spark that fire. It's not as easy as you remember.
Number 21. In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Jeff talks about the time he pranked a producer and they pranked him back.
Dave Grohl, Nirvana, Foo Fighters, rock star.
Amazing.
We're friends. We vacation together, our families.
I know that.
So we're in Hawaii, and he runs into Adam Levine. So later I say, now he seemed like a nice guy, and Grohl says, really nice guy. Would you ever be friends? I don't know. Did you get his info? No. That's when the idea hit. So I go back to my hotel room, and I create an Adam Levine Gmail account.
Yeah, and you're going to email Grohl.
I email Grohl, and I'm over the top. Yes. And
as Adam Levine.
As Adam Levine, saying, hey, got your info from my manager. Just want to say it was great talking to you. By the way, my tats are based on yours. I shop at Varvatos like you do. My haircut. I really just want to be you. So
This is great.
The next day, I see Dave, and he goes, weirdly, I got an email from Adam, and I said, oh, cool. And he goes, no, not cool. I'm out. I'm out. 2 days later, I get an email. This is like 25 years from the drummer, my friend. So I know it's Grohl. And this email is super nice. It says, Jeff, my mom has followed your career, and I'm so happy you're a dad. Let's get together. I'm thinking, yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm super dick. I write back, yeah.
No,
I'm like,
no.
Your mom wants to get together? Tell your mom.
Oh my God! Oh, don't even tell me how this ends. Don't tell me how this ends. Dave Grohl has no idea.
Right.
Oh my gosh. No more pranks.
And all three of those guys, nice guys. The only idiot was me.
It is all in good fun, but I discovered this clip right around the time Adam Levine was exposed for cheating on his wife and wanted to name his baby after his mistress. So, you know, I did just date this video, but whatever. This is really immoral stuff. Number 22. In a post-game interview with Brandon, he reflects back on his game in comparison to South Pacific and says, "Oh yeah, this time I did so much better." What is he talking about?
I had a lot better time playing this time, but I like how the fact that I actually played this time. I actually gave it effort. I actually did what I had to do. I went out there and I played Survivor. My motivation for pulling out the beans and the rice, 90% pissed off, 10%, hey, if I'm getting voted off this island, I'm gonna make it hell for you.
Number 23. As some of you may know, John Cochran is now a writer for the show Star Trek Lower Decks, now 4 seasons deep, so he is no stranger to the film industry, but to see an ad connecting him with Jack Nicholson from The Shining is a bit odd.
I'm not here to be a hero, I'm here to make a big move.
Your behavior is not acceptable.
Here's Johnny.
I'm an evil mastermind.
Survivor premieres CBS next Wednesday.
Number 24. So I have a secret for you, and I don't know how to introduce this next clip, so I'm just gonna say that I wish Francesca made it further in Survivor because she is an interesting person.
I'm gonna diagram this like a football play. You got Savage, Kimmy, Jeremy, Steven, and Tasha. Now Savage is gonna fake reverse to Steven.
You made Jeremy's M&M brown.
Sorry, what's that?
Jeremy's M&M, you made it brown.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Well, you know, I don't see colors, Francesca. So that's just a coincidence right there is what that is. Anywho, so Savage is gonna fake...
And you also made Tasha's M&M brown.
Come again?
So Jeremy's M&M and Tasha's M&M, you gave them brown M&Ms.
You know, let's just get rid of the brown M&Ms. You know, nobody likes brown M&Ms anyway, so... Let's put them back in. Let's just put them back in right there. The most delicious M&M of them all, if you ask me.
Number 25. Andrea is someone many may consider to be very attractive. I mean, just ask Matt Elrod. He basically threw everything at her. And this opinion seems to be shared by many on the Caramoan jury, especially Malcolm.
It is still just a bunch of guys hanging out. Andrea's a very cute girl. Oh. She's still a guy. She grew up on a farm in Wisconsin. She can run with the boys. There's a bloody fight scene in a movie we're watching. I cover my eyes. She's like, oh yeah. She's a guy's girl for sure.
See that, Eddie?
Eddie's not here yet.
The joke's on you. I got myself voted out. Jump on the sword. It was all part of my plan.
What do you have?
I don't know when you're faking or not.
Having her at Ponderosa, she's totally one of us. I mean, you know, she's a girl that I would hang out with in the real world. She's the riot.
Number 26. Where did the hate for Dawn begin by the jury? I would say it was in game, as we saw with her earlier scene where she tried to steal Andrea's idol, but it's in the Ponderosa videos where we see this all come to light, as it is clear Dawn never stood a chance.
What she preaches ain't what she practices.
You know, for some of these people, they have no heart, regardless of how they talk about how many children they have and they've adopted, and, you know, referring to Dawn, I am. Me, Eric Dawn.
Yeah.
I think he probably told Dawn that.
We were all there together, the three of us.
But then she surely didn't want that, because that would have been the logical thing for her to do. Right.
There's a reason why, Brenda, you found out for me I'm in the game.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, there's a reason why, Dawn, you connected me so much. I felt like at that moment I was part of my mom. I thought you were my mom.
But I'd also love to see Cochran get to the final 3 because he's such a big fan like myself. You know, it would be great to see him get in the end, and he would be a deserving winner, I think.
Number 27. In that last secret I showed you, we saw people don't like Dawn, and Michael says, I want Cochran to win. Weirdly enough, at the final 4, the jurors seem to have changed their tune, not about Dawn, let's be serious right now, but about Eddie.
I am 110% rooting for Eddie.
I can't believe it, but I'm pulling for Eddie. Eddie's the underdog story.
I would love to see Eddie win the challenge. I would love to see Dawn or Sherry go home.
Number 28. Speaking of Eddie, I still don't feel like I fully understand the way a dog bar would work. Cat cafes exist, but a dog bar sounds like a logistical headache. But maybe the entrepreneur Eddie can explain it so it all makes sense.
Here's the thing with the dog bar. I absolutely love animals. And then my lifelong dream has always been to own a bar. So I always want to own a bar. And then my mom is just such a sweet woman, and she wants to open like a veterinarian clinic for homeless dogs and stuff. So I'm like, hey man, if we just smack a big backyard in my bar, you can bring whatever dogs you want there. They can hang out in the back, and you can sit at the bar and have a beer while the dogs run around and play. So I mean, it's very confusing kind of. It's not explained well at all, but you know, the premise of it is awesome, I think.
Number 29. To say Rupert's time on Israeli Survivor has been a success would be a bold-faced lie. He hasn't caught fish, gotten coconut, and seems incapable to make fire, which by the way makes sense considering what we saw on Heroes vs. Villains. But he gives the Purple Tribe his one last effort to try and give them the food they deserve.
Every one of us sometimes doubts yourself. There's food here somewhere. It's just trying to find it.
Can we call you Whoopi?
You can call me whatever you like.
Number 30. But seriously, how did Brandon get cast again on Survivor while also clearing the medical check? He was a big character on South Pacific, but I think another few years off and a return on a season like Cambodia may have been better for his mental health. However, here's how he got back on.
When his season was over, I felt like Brandon would never play again. So we called him and he said, listen, I've changed already. I'm not friends with my Uncle Russell anymore. I've got a whole bunch of new tattoos. And I think I've grown up a lot, and I'd like to try it again.
Number 31. Now let's contrast that prior secret with another part of Brandon's post-game interview where he is so full of pride and arrogance. I almost wonder if he is basically a younger Phillip Shepard with his insecurities being masked here.
You think I'm just gonna let you vote me off or throw a challenge to get me off of this island and let it go by? Hell no. You will remember the day I got voted out. The crappy part about my last season was I went out with my head down like that. This time, I went out with my chest bowed out, my head up, my shoulders all poked up. I came out of this like a man, not like a little boy. Best moment in the game is when I took that beans and I took them rice and I made it rain like freaking Lil Jon. I made it rain with them beans. I made it rain with them. I was like, yeah.
Number 32. Do you recall when Andrew was looking for the idol? Eric gets it and then just gives it to her. When I watched this, I could not wrap my head around why Eric gave up yet another immunity, but here's him rationalizing this decision.
First of all, Andrea had found the clue. It was kind of her idol in a way, and people are saying, no, you could have taken it and run away. There were two things through my head. One was more idol etiquette kind of thing, so part of it was that. But the bigger thing really was that I never wanted idols on this entire season. I never went to look for them. I didn't want them. They kind of had a reverse effect in my mind. I mean, if you even look back at Micronesia, whenever someone had an idol, it was it put more of a target on them because you're playing with savvy players.
Number 33. Back in this era of Survivor, Jeff tried his hand at hosting his own talk show. It didn't last more than a year, and in a later interview, he claims that he enjoyed the creative freedom he had. But to me, it comes across as nothing special, aside from Jeff hosting it, which is probably why it didn't last.
Hello, hello!
All right, a little about me. I'm recently married. I work with my wife on this show, and I'm learning how to be a dad to two amazing kids in a blended family. I'm hosting a talk show because there's a lot to talk about. This is the adventure.
Number 34. In later interviews, Brenda talks about how she spent a lot of time alone reflecting and learning about herself while playing on this season. However, in this secret scene, Cochran just views her as insane.
I can't get a read on Brenda, and 99% of this game is getting a read on your tribe mate. She sits and stares at a rock wall for 18 hours without any sort of external stimulus, to actually be looking at. So I don't know what to make of her. She'd just sit in the ocean staring at a rock wall.
I know.
Combing her hair and scraping pots. That's all she did. If her strategy is to drive everyone insane by freaking people out by staring at rock walls and scratching a pot for hours, mission accomplished. Brilliant.
Number 35, what was Eric's strategy this season? To do nothing and get to the end and not be hated? I guess. I'm not sure if that would have worked if you were sitting next to Cochran, but this is his strategy nonetheless.
Basically, my strategy has been take the strategic bureaucracy and let somebody else handle that, because I don't want to do it and I'm not good at it and I don't like to do it. We've been out here for 35 days and I've been trying to talk to my family on my Caramoan shell phone, which also doubles as a scooper for rice. My shell phone, I mean, is probably the best phone in the Caramoan Islands, at least for me. But I mean, I wish I had a book to read. I wish I had something to eat. There's not much to it at this point.
Number 36, some have clamored for a Reynolds return on Survivor and some just don't see the hype. In this secret scene from the final few days of the season, I would say Sherry is in the latter camp.
I couldn't stand Reynolds. He just irritated me so bad. I went after him after day one. It became a joke that I just wanted him out so bad. I finally got you.
Number 37, no one likes Survivor One World, and if you do like it, then I know you're just an undercover Big Brother fan looking to sabotage the Survivor fandom. Don't pretend that you're not. Even Corinne knows when to take advantage of this easy punching bag.
I would hope, here's my wish, that when they watch seasons like the one that just passed, and they are bored out of their mind, I hope they think to themselves, you know what would spice this season up? Corinne. So good news, I promise that you'll get some spice from me, if nothing else.
Number 38, there are times I've been truly inspired in life and none can be attributed to Phillip Shepard. That is, until now.
I want to remind the fans, I was first runner-up by willing to be different. Dare to be different in life and you can achieve many a great thing, like win $1 million. That's what I'm about to do.
Number 39, with Phillip trying so hard to replicate Boston Rob's game from Redemption Island, it's no wonder he didn't attempt to utilize the buddy system. Apparently, he did try to do it, but someone wouldn't let him.
Much to my chagrin and much to my unhappiness, one of the basic tenets of his thing about the merge was get a buddy system. Get it so that your people are never left alone with the other tribe. And unfortunately, my number one ally in the game, Andrea, joined openly and willingly, and she also participated in Survivor Season 22 with me, so she knew the danger of that, and yet we found her every night sleeping with the enemy.
Number 40, why did Phillip come back to play a second time after the way he was portrayed on Redemption Island?
And I'm hoping that my legacy is, no, he's not the crazy guy. Phillip is truly an interesting person. He's a caring person, and yet he's still playing Survivor and trying to win $1 million.
I must say, this is a crazy idea, and I am not sure why he expected anything different. Number 41, Colby Donaldson on season 2 The Australian Outback has been said to be the reason the name Colby became a popular baby name in 2001, but who are these people naming their kids after him? Well, I now know of one person.
So I named my baby boy Colby after Colby Donaldson season 2 Australia, and Colby just turned 12 2 weeks ago.
Have you ever met Colby?
I've never met Colby Donaldson.
Number 42, Boston Rob wrote a book about his strategies for life. It isn't really Survivor related at all, though it is a fun, albeit short read if you are a Boston Rob fan. So who does he claim is the inspiration for his book?
Well, I got inspired by Phillip this season, watching him, recite my rules in and out, and I said to Amber, I said, we got to get this stuff down. We got to put this down, and this is the result.
Speaking of Phillip, he wrote a book that came out around this season called The Specialist. Here is his description of the story. After barely surviving 39 days of hell in Costa Rica, the site of his first ever botched assignment, the Specialist is just coming off a 6-month hiatus when the beautiful Mimi Sabo contacts him. Desperate to find her kidnapped father, and with just days to come up with millions in ransom, Mimi needs the Specialist's expertise and quick. But there is one problem. She is from Costa Rica, the last place the Specialist ever wants to be again. The Specialist is prepared to decline the job until Mimi slaps a fat check on his desk. When he begins his investigation, he enlists the help of his friend and former Israeli Secret Service member, and soon discovers that things are not as they appear. Swept up in a life or death mission, the Specialist heads to Costa Rica, where he must walk a path of corruption and betrayal, pitted against drug cartels, dirty cops, turncoat agents, and a terrorist bomber. But even the Specialist cannot have predicted what happens next. In this gripping thriller, one man must return to the place that has given him so much trouble and face his demons in order to solve a case for a beautiful client. So, that's the way the book's described, and There it is, it happened. Number 43, Dawn was unfairly harassed during and after the season. So much so that people would send packages to her job at school with things such as blood, real blood, over her stint on Survivor. Talk about crazed lunatics. But what many of us don't know is how Dawn lost her teeth that became a big issue on the season.
Yeah, so I was attacked, and that's how I lost those teeth.
You were attacked?
Yeah, just 10 years before that, working for the university.
Oh. Number 44. On a much lighter note, Jeff always praises the locals for embracing Survivor and being an invaluable asset to the team. And one time during Caramoan, they even held a basketball tournament.
In the Philippines, for instance, the best local labor we've ever had. They loved having us there, and there's a community that forms. And halfway through, you have an event, like we had a big basketball game last year, and it was Survivor. It was the Philippines versus the world, and it took place, and it was a monumental event in this community. Everybody came to this basketball court, and Survivor formed a team, and then the Philippines formed a team, and we had announcers and we had cheerleaders, and you really bond, and then you leave.
Number 45. I did mention this in the South Pacific Secrets video, but it is worth mentioning here too. On Survivor Nicaragua, Holly replaced Dawn on the cast. Dawn then obviously played on South Pacific, but for Survivor Caramoan, Dawn replaced Holly. Oh, how the tables have turned.
Ironically, I think it flipped. The first time they knocked me out for season 21, and for season 26, I knocked them out.
Let's give her a name, Dawn. Let's give her a name, because we just talked to her, a month or two ago. It's Holly. Holly Hoffman.
So which secret surprised you the most? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.